Hello, everyone! The long-awaited 27th episode of Dom Studios' Skibidi Toilets Multiverse is finally out, and oh my god, this episode was absolutely unexpected. Today I'm going to give you a full analysis of this episode, as well as point out to you all the secrets and Easter eggs that you guys may not have necessarily noticed. What is that strange device on the hand of one of the CLOCKMAN? What was being written on that tablet? And most importantly, is this CLOCKMAN a traitor, or was what he did just a staged plan? Get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because this is going to be extremely entertaining. Let's go! This episode begins with the mass evacuation of the CLOCKMAN base. And in the first couple of frames, you can see how TV Man teleports from this location. But however, he did not take any CLOCKMAN with him though. It seemed like just left them be here. But I have an idea where he went to actually, and I will tell you about it a little bit later. At this time, CLOCKMAN is doing something with the books in the closet, and as we will see later, this closet is in fact a secret entrance, and maybe even an exit. And I think that by doing all that activity, he tries to bring it into working order or something like that. And after that, he takes the tablet, on which a few words are being written, and leaves. At first glance, it seems that this is an ordinary plan, but in fact it shows the location of all the clock devices that was captured in recent episodes. And when there are only 3 agents left in the room, the Clockwoman suggests to the main CLOCKMAN to leave this place as well. But he doesn't agree on it, and shows that it is necessary to stay here in order to play out the whole show, which we will see a little bit later. After a while, the clock starts ticking, and a few ticks later, the CLOCKMAN pulls the Clockwoman out of the explosion that started just a moment afterwards. It all looks like this guy knew exactly how it was going to go down to the second. So, the Alpha comes on the scene, which actually confirms my assumption that this guy can predict the future a few seconds ahead of him. The main CLOCKMAN orders the Clockwoman to leave this place through a secret entrance, which was previously prepared by CLOCKMAN. And after that, there were only 3 characters left in the room, one of whom was hiding under the table and got out only now. And by his behavior, you can tell that he is afraid of the Alpha, which she notices right away. But it seems to me, though, that he is afraid not of the Alpha herself, but of what he has to do a little later, and I will explain it pretty soon. So, the Alpha says at her turn that their fate is just to die in here, and so that she simply wants to speed up this process, after which the CLOCKMAN with a knife wanted to rush at her. But the main CLOCKMAN stopped him from doing that. And at this time, we are getting shown the base outside, and how the whole Earth is shaking right now, which signals that Titan Drillman is already close in order to level this place with the ground. And finally, the main CLOCKMAN stretches out his hand, and some kind of yellow particles form near it. And immediately after that, the CLOCKMAN with the knife stops shaking with his body, as he did earlier, and then he gets pushed away by some force for a little. And at this moment you can notice the same particles near his device on his arm. And I have noted it for a pretty long time already that he has an unusual device. And now it has become clear what exactly it is needed for. As soon as he presses that clock, the main CLOCKMAN puts his hands down and the yellow particles disappear. And then the second agent starts hacking him with his own tool. And afterwards he turns the main CLOCKMAN around and destroys the device placed on his chest. And I'm assuming that he did that so the Alpha couldn't take it and use it as she pleases. And it's pretty much likely that this is the thing that the main CLOCKMAN could use in order to see the future or rewind time, like he did in episode 8. Eventually, his clock gets separated from his body, and it seems to be all over. At first glance, it looks like we have lost the main CLOCKMAN, but I'm more than sure that he survived in one form or another, and now I'll explain to you why I actually think so. It seems to me that at this particular moment it was not the main CLOCKMAN, but just an empty shell of him, or namely, just a body, because a few seconds earlier I think there was a transfer of consciousness or something like that to this device on the hand of another CLOCKMAN. And I'm also taking that guess for a fact that this CLOCKMAN isn't exactly a traitor and didn't do it just in order to save his own skin, which I can prove by taking a look at several factors about this scene, so let's talk about them now. First of all, this guy was previously ready to literally lunge at the Alpha after what she has said, but the main CLOCKMAN stopped him from doing that. And I also think that he was shaking with actual fear, because the main CLOCKMAN told him what he had to do afterwards. And as soon as this procedure was finished, and the guy with the knife touched the clock on his hand, he has immediately changed his behavior and started acting this whole role play or something like that. Maybe because of this action, their minds switched places, and the main Clockman finished himself off. But being in another body at the moment, but on the outside, it looked like this guy betrayed him. Or he was just telling him what to do, while being placed inside of this actual device. And if all that I have just said has an actual potential of turning out to be true, then it becomes pretty interesting. Whether all the Clockmen are capable of pulling this off, or only their main guy has this fascinating ability. In any case, as soon as it was over, this poor guy shook again and threw the knife, and then ran away from this place through the same secret exit. The Alpha picks up the clock separated from the body while expressing her displeasure that he turned out to be weaker than she previously thought. But my God, you don't even know that you've just been tricked, lady. So, in the end, only the body of the main Clockman remained at this base, and after the procedure of saying a few cold farewell words coming from the Alpha, she leaves as well, so that Titan Drillman, who finally arrived at the place, simply destroys this entire majestic castle without any hindrances, and the helicopter filled with agents finally flies away. But perhaps you will be wondering how those who escaped through the secret exit could have ever survived. After all, even if there are some underground communications under this castle, Titan Drillman should have destroyed them along with the Clockwoman and the Clockman. But do you remember how I talked about the TV man who teleported on his own before? I think that he did not fly that far away, but simply moved into the space behind this cabinet, and when these two finally came to him, he also left this base with them after it was destroyed by the colossal Titan. And if everything really occurred in the way I have predicted that, then the main Clockman is an unsurpassed genius who is capable of calculating everything 1,000 steps ahead and deceiving his enemies no worse than the Alpha herself. And most likely she did not achieve anything by destroying this castle because the Clockmen managed to take everything important away from here, including the clock that hung on this moon earlier. At the end of the episode, the Alpha who got teleported on the Titan's hand utters her last words, addressing some kind of master while saying that she did it and prepared everything, and that now they can actually begin their conquest. And based on these words, the Alpha is not the most important of the villains after all, and someone is clearly standing over her, and she is extremely loyal to him. But I actually think that she will get disappointed pretty soon, that things didn't go according to her plan exactly, and that she was actually tricked. But we'll see that in the future episodes. Write in the comments below your own theories about what might have happened in this episode, and whether you agree with what I said or not. And also, be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos. And that was me, ISO Chad. See ya!